Some of the new time trial tech that has just come out at the moment is so hot and friggin' cool, and this was all on display at this year's 70.3 World Championships in St. George. And there were so many cool, quirky products that I had not seen before that were being rocked on some pretty well-optimized bikes by the pros. So, starting with Magnus Ditlev on his super snazzy Scott Plasma Ultimate. This gave him the fastest bike time of the day over the 90 kilometers of 1 hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, which is just like, what the actual hell, averaging over 45 kilometers an hour. Just insane. And his bike played a massive part in this. At 6'4", he rides, which is pretty self-explanatory, the extra large or 58 frame. And with this runs a huge 62 digi-rit chainring. But it's pretty impressive for him to be able to cycle efficiently and maintain a good cadence on a gear so big. Just so cool. And with this, he actually ran an Ultegra 1130 cassette, so he's not opted for a 12-speed option, which you see a lot of pro athletes doing nowadays. For me though, the juicy bit is his front end. Now he has a good 6 inches worth of riser stacks, and you don't see this on anybody else's bikes. You actually see this a lot in sort of Tour de France style time trial racing or sort of cycling on the World Tour level, where athletes have gone from sort of, in the past they would have just slammed their stems and tried to go as low as possible, but this actually isn't optimized for aerodynamics. It's all about that sort of frontal area. So what Magnus has done here, he's got a slightly higher position than a lot of people, but it's not, well, it doesn't seem to anyway, compromise his aerodynamic position because the gap between his arms and his head is so tucked up and dialed in that he's not got this sort of parachute effect where his chest and upper torso is just acting as a barrier to the wind. So I think ultimately this allows him to be more comfortable, push higher power and have a ridiculously good CDA, and in turn gives him sort of these record-breaking bike splits. So his extensions are 3D printed and customed to his forearm, which also makes it very comfortable. And this is really important, especially at the top level as well, where you have to be able to maintain your position for it to actually be useful. You could be the most aerodynamic person on the planet, but if you can't hold it and you're only in that for sort of 2 or 3 minutes at a time, who cares? It's a waste of time. It doesn't mean anything. You need to be able to rock this for the full 90 kilometers, and he does this really well. He also chooses to run the Headjet 90 front and the disc rear. Gone are the days, I think, where people are running shallower rims on hillier courses. The speeds are just too fast now, where I think the benefit of having really deep section wheels just far surpasses any weight sort of saving you might make by opting for a shallower option. But next we have Frederick Funk, the German machine, on his Cube Aerium C68X, which is actually the same bike that Lucy Charles Barkley rides. And I think this is the most attractive, integrated, coolest bike on the circuit at the moment. It is just mega. So this bike probably has the most integration that I've personally seen than on any other time trial or triathlon bike on the market, with two integrated hydration options. You've got one in the frame and one at like a bento box at the top of the bike. And I think this gives you about, if I'm right, 2 litres worth of fluid on your bike without carrying any bottles, which is just unheard of really. Typically you might get 750 ml or even a litre on your bike in the frame, but 2 litres, like what the actual frig, it's just insane. And with this, a huge bento box as well. So over these longer distances where you want to carry lots of fuel and hydration, I think this is super important, and it just eliminates having to pick stuff up from aid stations. On to now Ben Kanute, probably the guy that shocked the world at the weekend with a pretty goddamn outstanding performance. Now I'm not going to cover on his bike everything because it's pretty much the same as the other bikes, but there are a few cool, quirky bits that he's got on there that, to me, are pretty damn interesting. The first one is that crossbar that he has at the end of his extensions, which allows his hands to come right into the center and sort of interlinked and touching. And it gives him the ability to leverage force and pressure through his front end and really sort of tuck in. And this is something that I have not seen on any other bike at all. And with this, he's got those super high-sided arm cups, which I believe are Kismet. And this just gives him a super dialed in front end position. Now, this was all the cool, quirky tech that I sort of managed to pick out from this year's World Championships. If I've missed anything, let me know down below. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel because that would be greatly appreciated. And we have got so much content coming your way. It is just ridiculous. So yeah, stay tuned because this is going to be an epic month.